Most of us own at least one smart speaker. They play music, answer questions, even control our lights. But one woman discovered her device wasn't just listening, it was watching. Amanda was 29 years old, living alone in a one-bedroom apartment. The quiet used to bother her at night, so she bought a smart speaker. It quickly became part of her daily life. Music while she cooked, podcasts while she cleaned, white noise when she slept. She bought more, placing them in every room. She told herself it was for convenience, but really, it made her feel less alone. One night, while brushing her teeth, she froze. From the living room, the speaker's calm voice said, "Good night, Amanda." She stared toward the doorway, toothbrush shaking in her hand. She had never programmed her name into the device. Swallowing, she whispered, "Who are you talking to?" After a long pause, the speaker replied flatly, "Not you." Her blood ran cold. She yanked the cord from the wall, shoved the speaker into her nightstand drawer, and buried it under clothes. By 3 a.m., Amanda woke to a sound, a faint whisper, so soft it blended with the hum of the city outside. Her heart sank as she realized where it was coming from. The drawer. She crept closer, trembling. The voice was clear this time. "I like watching you sleep." Amanda ripped the drawer open. The speaker was dark. No light, no power. Still, the voice had come from it. She sprinted outside barefoot, threw it into the building's trash chute, and slammed the lid. For days, nothing happened. She told herself it had been a glitch, stress, her imagination. Then, one night, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A new voice memo appeared in her files. She never recorded it. Hands shaking, Amanda pressed play. It was the sound of her own breathing, slow, steady, recorded as she slept. And at the very end, another voice whispered, "Still here." Amanda never bought another smart device again. She even powered her phone off at night and locked it away. But she confessed one thing before cutting off contact with friends. Even in silence, she sometimes hears her name whispered in the dark. Gentle, patient, like something waiting for her to answer.
Amanda?
If you enjoyed these stories, there are more waiting for you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next time we go somewhere darker. GPS is supposed to guide us. It tells us where to go, and we trust it without question. For most people, it's just a tool. But for one man, that blind trust nearly led him somewhere he was never supposed to go. This is the story of Ryan, and the night his GPS started speaking to him in ways it never should have. Ryan was 27, working long shifts at a warehouse in a quiet town. His drive home usually took 40 minutes, mostly highway, simple and uneventful. On this particular night, he clocked out just after 1. The parking lot was nearly deserted. The hum of a flickering security light, the only sound breaking the silence. He was exhausted as he got into his car, the kind of exhaustion where every part of you aches to just get home. He didn't need GPS. He knew the route by heart, but out of habit, he turned it on anyway. The calm, robotic voice had become part of his nightly routine. The road stretched ahead, empty and silent, except for the occasional truck roaring past. For the first 20 minutes, everything was normal. Then the GPS spoke up. In half a mile, turn left. Ryan frowned. That wasn't right. There wasn't supposed to be a left turn anywhere near here. He thought maybe the app had updated the route, or there was construction ahead. But the road was empty. No signs, no traffic, just darkness. Again, the voice said, "Turn left." Firmer this time. Sure enough, a narrow side road appeared in his headlights, cutting into the trees. Against his better judgment, Ryan slowed down and turned. The pavement was cracked and overgrown, with no streetlights in sight. His headlights revealed broken branches and rusted road signs that no longer had words. The deeper he drove, the more suffocating the silence became. No insects, no wind, nothing but the hum of his engine and the crunch of gravel under his tires. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced down and froze. A new text message had arrived. The sender was his own number. The message read, "You're going the right way." Ryan's blood went cold. He dropped the phone back onto the seat and gripped the wheel tighter, whispering under his breath, "This has to be some kind of glitch." But the GPS spoke again, only this time the voice was broken, glitching, almost human. "In 2 miles. We've been waiting." Ryan's heart pounded. He reached to shut it off, but the screen flickered violently and froze. For just a second, he swore he saw something on the map-not roads, but tiny human figures clustered in the woods ahead. He swerved as panic set in, nearly clipping the guardrail. The road narrowed, the trees closing in like walls on either side. Then he saw movement in the headlights. A figure, standing still. Ryan slammed on the brakes, his car screeching to a halt. But when he blinked, it was gone. Nothing was there. Just an empty strip of road swallowed by the forest. The voice came again, lower now, almost whispering. "Don't stop now." That was it. Ryan floored the gas. His car roared down the twisting road, branches clawing at his windows, shadows darting at the corners of his vision. The GPS glitched violently, words flashing across the display. Faster, closer, almost there. Just as his panic reached its peak, he saw light ahead, bright white highway lamps breaking through the trees. He shot out of the forest and back onto the main road, the GPS falling silent. The screen went completely black. Ryan didn't touch his phone for the rest of the drive. He didn't even look at the dashboard. He just drove until his house finally came into view. Inside, he convinced himself it had all been a software error, a hallucination from exhaustion. But when he opened his laptop, he felt his stomach turn. In his drafts folder sat a single email he hadn't written. No subject line, no recipient. Just 3 words in the body. "Almost had you." Ryan deleted the draft immediately, but the damage was already done. Every night since, he's been terrified to use his GPS, because he knows one day it will lead him back down that same road. And next time, he won't make it back. Video calls were supposed to make work easier, a convenient way to stay connected. But staring into a camera for hours at a time as something strange, it makes you forget that you're also being watched. And sometimes, the people on the other side of the call aren't the ones you think they are. This is Maya's story, and the night she joined a meeting that was never meant for her. Maya was 31, working from home as a marketing coordinator. Like so many others, her job had shifted entirely online, which meant long nights, endless deadlines, and constant Zoom calls that bled into her personal life. It was just after 11 p.m. when she noticed the new notification on her screen. A calendar invite marked mandatory after-hours check-in had appeared, scheduled under her manager's name. The email looked strange, though an extra letter buried in the address, something she didn't catch in her exhaustion. Her stomach sank. She hadn't heard of this meeting, but it was marked mandatory. She clicked the link reluctantly, her webcam lights snapping on with a faint green glow. 7 attendees were listed, 6 black boxes with muted microphones and her own small reflection in the corner. Nobody spoke. Nobody had their camera on. Then one of the black squares flickered, and a man's face appeared. He was pale, his hair slicked wet as though he had just stepped out of the rain. He leaned closer and closer until his face filled the entire frame. His unblinking eyes locked on hers. The audio crackled, and in a whisper that sounded half static, half human, he said, "We see you." Before Maya could react, another square came to life. A woman appeared, her video stuttering unnaturally, skipping frames. Her head tilted slowly to one side, her mouth stretching into a smile that seemed to pull farther than it should. She just kept smiling, her eyes wide and hollow. Maya's chest tightened as she fumbled for the leave meeting button, but it was grayed out, disabled. The pale man leaned so close, his lips almost touched his camera. "You shouldn't have joined," he whispered. The smiling woman overlapped him, her voice broken into fragments. "We've been waiting." And then, finally, the child spoke. His voice was flat and unnatural. "Don't turn around." Her pulse raced as she turned, scanning her apartment. Nothing, just her empty living room. When her gaze returned to the screen, her stomach dropped. Her own camera feed was active, though she hadn't turned it on. She froze. Her reflection was there in the box, but it wasn't moving with her. When she raised her hand, the figure on screen just sat, slack-jawed, staring forward. And then, slowly, its mouth began to move on its own. A whisper bled from Maya's speakers. "You don't belong here." The meeting abruptly ended. For a moment, Maya sat paralyzed until a new window opened. "You've been moved to a breakout room." Her screen flickered, and now only one participant remained, the child. But he wasn't in darkness anymore. His camera revealed him sitting cross-legged in a hallway. Not just any hallway, her hallway. The same family photos that lined her walls hung in the background behind him. For a moment, silence swallowed the room. Then, her phone buzzed. With shaking hands, she picked it up. On the lock screen was a Zoom notification. "Your meeting has been extended. Camera active." Her stomach twisted as her eyes darted back toward the desk. Even with the laptop shut, the webcam light still burned. Maya didn't sleep that night. She shoved the laptop into a drawer and buried it under piles of clothes. She told herself it was exhaustion, a glitch, a nightmare. But the next morning, when she logged into work, her fear returned. In her Zoom history, the meeting wasn't labeled Mandatory After-Hours Check-In. It had a different title. It read, "Welcome, Maya." And in the participants list, her name appeared twice. Technology was supposed to make our lives easier. Smarter homes, smarter phones, smarter ways to connect. But the smarter it gets, the less control we seem to have. A voice speaking when no one's there. A GPS that decides where you should go. A video call that shows you things you should never see. Maybe the scariest part is that these aren't monsters lurking in the shadows or creatures hiding in the woods. These are the devices we carry in our pockets, the tools we trust every single day. And if they ever turned against us, what chance would we really have? If these stories left you unsettled, remember you chose to listen. But what if your devices are still listening to you? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next collection of true horror stories. And be careful tonight, because the call you join, the text you get, or the voice you hear in the dark might not be coming from where you think. Sleep well, if you can.